Welcome to the Mega Mad Podcast. Here we'll explore the mysteries of digital marketing and small business development. Having grown and sold his first online business, Mark now seeks to help other business owners build their own.
Hey guys, this is Mark Grasse. I'm here with the Mega Mad Podcast talking to Dr. Lewis from Lewis Family Medicine and Urgent Care in Dripping Springs and Manor and other places. Today we're going to talk about how he's kind of developed his business around the whole COVID crisis, how he addresses it with his employees, and kind of the innovations that he's come up with to help keep the community safe. So, welcome, Dr. Lewis.
Thank you.
So, I saw you guys just got a new trailer, which is super cool. What kind of prompted you to develop in that direction?
It's been a tough year business-wise for, most people. There's a few industries that are doing really, really well, like, internet and things that are kind of fit the mold for people staying at home and that sort of thing. But our particular business in our medical building, we have many different specialists and surgeons, and we're just getting an influx of people that wanted to get COVID tested or needed to get COVID tested. So we're trying to figure out a way to protect. Really, to be honest with you, initially the mission or the idea was to protect our staff from having unneeded exposures. And we started that process by doing all curbside check-ins, temperature screening and symptom screening before they came into the building. And then we've done lots and lots of, preliminary exams at the car. But then what we realized was our urgent care had lost its utility as a true urgent care for the community. So we started looking at different ways. I have a lady that works for me by the name of Jamie Grasse, and my wife, and we were all kind of sitting around trying to figure things out. And it made sense if we were to remove the testing, the elective testing, and all the people that just want to get tested that aren't necessarily symptomatic or need to see a provider, that they could just pull up, get tested, and leave, and keep them out of the building. And so it's been a really good deal as far as minimizing the footprint of potential COVID individuals that are carrying and don't know it, and or have symptoms and don't know that they have COVID, of keeping them out of the building. So it was a good move for all of the doctors in the building, and in a good move to help us alleviate the necessity of getting the urgent care back where it's operational and accessible, and people aren't fearful that they're going to go into a place where people are just getting COVID tested. And I think that we've reduced we probably do 80% of our COVID testing now out of the trailer versus in clinic, and we only test people that are asymptomatic and no direct contact in the clinic currently. So we, I think, have minimized the risk as much as we can for inside the building. Anybody else gets tested curbside or in the trailer. So it's served many different purposes. It's convenient for the community. It's easy to pull up, swipe your card, get tested, and get a call back on your results. It takes about 15 minutes. And it is the immunoassay test, which is about 83% sensitive. The brand is BD. B as in Bob, D as in David. And so it's been a good thing, and it's been well received by the community. And we just, yesterday and today, we actually, staff's having to deal with inclement weather, but at least they have the trailer to go into in between tests. And my hat's off really to our staff, all of our staff, not just for the trailer, but for the entire office through this COVID deal. I mean, they're brave, they're showing up to work every day. They're pushing through, and so
nice.
Yeah.
So this year, when the whole crisis happened around end of January, February, March, what was it tough to transition from your normal, family practice and regular urgent care to now everything's, not gone to hell, but is much more difficult than it used to?
What it caused you to do, and having a background in major in biology and minor in chemistry, and it just takes you back to understanding microbiology. I mean, viruses are going to spread, bacteria is going to spread. You almost cannot contain it. But there is something to be said about minimizing transmission of those things. And so it was really developing protocols, trying to figure out who to follow, whose lead to follow in society, right? CDC, World Health Organization, local health agencies. Everybody had something different. You know, an interesting side note here is like when this first started, their cutoff for temperature was anything over 99.5.
That's pretty high.
Well, a lot of people will bump up above 99.5, and so if somebody had a positive temperature, now all of a sudden they got put in this high risk, couldn't come to work, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. Now it's 100.0 for most of the state agencies here in Texas, and I think Texas has done a great job in managing this from a business aspect, from a livelihood aspect, and from a social impact aspect. Hats off to Governor Abbott and his fortitude that he's shown through this process has been greatly appreciated, I think, by many, many different business owners and people. But back to the temperature. So now it's 100.0 for most state places, but CDC says 100.4, which is kind of the standard, what we would consider temperature prior to COVID. And so developing new protocols, new procedures, you know, down to the aspect of, you know, when our MAs go outside, they're to deglove, you know, their right hand to open the door to come back into the clinic. You know, there's just lots of small and tedious protocols that have had to been developed, and we've had a great team help come up with those. The lady that I mentioned previously, Jamie, and Michelle, my wife, and me, and it's been a real team approach, and the staff at the office again has been amazing and great. So
That's awesome.
It's been an ordeal, but God's blessed us, and really our mission is to, you know, love people in the community and serve people and treat them like family, and I'm just again proud of our staff because they really have put the community even in front of their own health at times, but we're doing things the safe way, the right way.
That's awesome.
And God's been blessing us, so I'm appreciative.
So as the, you know, you're kind of been in the community a long time, and I would say one of the, you know, oldest kind of central businesses that we have around here. What have you seen from the other business owners that you know, just know personally in terms of how they're handling their business? Are they coming to you a lot for advice, and are they even open anymore?
You know, it's such a growing area, this Dripping Springs, Austin, West Austin corridor. It's there's not a lot of old school folks around. And it's kind of an interesting thing. You know, there's so many great families and great businesses in the Dripping area, Dripping proper, and around Dripping and west of Dripping, and they're just great people. And so I haven't had a lot of people approach me because we're kind of a one-off, being a medical office. It kind of puts us in a different category. So people aren't really. I've had other doctors ask us how we're doing stuff and kind of ping-pong ideas back and forth about how to operate, but not really other business owners in the area. I think that everybody's kind of figuring out how to do it on their own, and it's a balance between logistical goals, social expectations, and what's real in the reality of trying to prevent the spread of COVID. And so now the vaccine's out, so this is the newest hurdle that we have, is trying to figure out when we're getting it, how do we administer it, and
yeah, I think just from a layman's point of view, everybody kind of thinks that every medical office is somehow connected and in their policies and procedures and what they're going to do and not do, and when they get the vaccine, and I think it's, you know, knowing you, I could say like you guys, you know, are pretty independent when it comes to, you have to make your policies and enforce your policies yourselves. So like, you know, they say the frontline workers are getting the vaccine. So if you guys got the vaccine,
we do not have the vaccine in office, and when we do, you'll be putting it on the website. as you do a great job with our websites and all of our social media. So yeah, I mean, we're waiting to figure that out. I mean, nobody tells you who to call. You call the health department, and wait on hold for 2 or 3 hours, and do that about every 2 days to figure out what's going on, where we're at. We're in the queue, but we still haven't gotten any vaccines, and so I'm not upset about that. I kind of expected there to be, I don't want to use the term chaos. I think it's a natural phenomenon when you have such a mass rollout that there's just going to be, people that have difficulty getting it. And same thing was true when the disease started in early 2020 here. Testing supplies were hard to come by, and there were fraudulent things out there. My guess is it's going to have to be vetted and secure, and we're going to have to be careful. And we will not, anything that comes out of our office will be vetted and secure, but it's just chaos a little bit. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way towards the government or anything else. I think it's been an amazing feat to get this thing done and distributed as soon as we did in America. And so my hat's off to Pfizer and the other group that put the vaccines together. But it's just kind of bobbing and weaving, and we just don't know where we're at yet.
So
in getting it, but I think we should be getting it in the next couple of weeks.
So you think just positively, because I think, you could speculate all you want, but let's say everybody gets the vaccine, it's done. Like, when do you think things will kind of go back to normal when it comes to, your office in general, but also just the community after, okay, everybody's vaccinated, now what happens?
That's a great question. I personally think that we will never go back to normal as we knew it. And I don't, that sounds derogatory or maybe scary to some people, but it's not. I think that COVID's impact on Americans, and we'll just specifically say Texans. I mean, it is so multifactorial. I mean, it's a spiritual thing, it's a psychological thing, it's a physical thing, it's and the impact is not going to go away. Say if COVID was gone tomorrow, there's still going to be remnants of its effect for years if it was gone tomorrow, and it's not going to be gone tomorrow. And right now we have a mutated version of it, supposedly, that's more contagious. Will there be more mutations? I mean, nature has a way of figuring out how to win in most cases. And that's kind of medicine, is the fight between man and nature and trying to prevent disease. And so that fight's been going on for tens of thousands of years and will continue for tens of thousands of years. So from that aspect, I don't know that we'll ever get back to where we were 100%. And some of that's good, some of it's bad. I mean, we'll all be using more hand sanitizer probably for the rest of our lives. And we'll probably use masks in flu season just because people are like, I don't mind wearing a mask when I go to a shopping mall. Like, if it helps me stay healthier. So I think that it's far-reaching, it's unpredictable. But I do know, and 100% believe in this, is that Americans, and I tend to speak about Texans because I was born and raised here, and so many generations of our family, but we kind of figure out a way to get by and move forward and not focus on the negative and just say, all right, if I got to plow this field, I'll plow it wearing a mask, or I won't wear a mask, and I'm willing to take the risk. So I think we'll get back to normal in the sense of enjoying life, doing traveling, doing those things probably in a year or so from now.
That's pretty positive. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think this has been super informative, and appreciate you stopping your busy day to come down and have a podcast. So we'll be doing some more of these soon with local business owners. I have lots of clients that I talk to on a regular basis, and I'm trying to get their input on the current situation, but also just how you evolve your business to match, because something's going to happen all the time, and I think we were kind of complacent for a long time, so people forgot how to adapt quickly. So that's one positive aspect, is business development was mandatory this year. So keep on listening. We'll be coming out with new podcasts soon. And for more information about my business, you can check out MegaMedWebsites.com or Kevin, Dr. Lewis's business at LewisFamilyMed.com.